You get 3 rolls on this tower. Whatever random question you get, that's where we start.
Great. Okay.
This one's scene swap. If you could have the opportunity to swap roles with anyone in the Superman ensemble just to play one scene of theirs as an actor, who would you choose and why?
David, I would love to fly. Who doesn't want to fly? Right? Isn't that... Yeah, David. Or, I mean, Mr. Terrific, his fighting stuff, that would be really cool too.
Everything about him is just the coolest.
He's the coolest human on and off screen, Eddie
Oh,
is.
I believe it.
Oh, he's just wonderful.
He carries himself in that role so well. Like, he just exudes, like, this kind of, like, calm and authority that I couldn't get enough of.
He is that in real life as well. So, yeah.
I love
Eddie
that.
or David.
Okay. Solid choices right there. Respect. All right. Second roll of 3. All right. We got a 2. Now we're doing 6. 6 is set vice. I want to know what your on-set vice is. Like, what do you turn to when you need to power through a really tough day?
Well, on Superman, it was French toast, which is so random, but I'm a foodie, and we had the best catering on Superman. So my go-to is usually if I'm nervous or if I'm like need to get through the day, I'm like donuts or anything in crafty.
Oh, you like the sweet stuff.
Both, but yes, very much so. But I really, on Superman, our catering was so wonderful, and she would make me French toast to get through. So
that.
I know.
Ultimate comfort food.
Yeah, I'd say comfort food is always my thing to get through anything.
As someone who calls herself a foodie, I am curious now, what's your go-to movie theater snack?
Well, I like to bring my own stuff in. I don't know if I should say that. But I'm trying not to be anymore, but I was a huge McDonald's addict for a long time, and I love having like the little cheeseburgers and bringing them in with French fries from McDonald's because I'm from Spokane, Washington, and we have a movie theater that I love to go to, and there's a McDonald's right next door, so it's perfect. Does that count as a snack?
It does
McDonald's?
count.
Who's eating a burger at a theater?
I feel like,
only me.
now you've like drilled this into my head, and the next time I take my niece and nephew to a movie, that's going to be... that's just going to be the sweet spot of seeing a movie and letting them have their happy meals. I've also I'm a little addicted to TikTok, and all I keep seeing is...
too.
Are you watching the people trying to eat... I think one is a Whopper and I guess one is a Big Mac in under a minute. And
Wait, no.
It's the most unhinged thing I've ever seen. Like, if I get a Big Mac or a Whopper, I want to sit and enjoy it, and the challenge is to try to eat a whole one in a minute or
I don't
less.
understand the speed eating thing because I like to savor...
Enjoy.
Every bite counts. So
how's your spice tolerance? I'm trying to think of like food challenges that I've done and actually semi-enjoyed.
I think pretty good.
Have you ever tried the Hot Ones challenge?
I have not. I want to. That's a manifest goal.
Okay,
so,
getting on Hot Ones?
Yeah.
And I'm sure the day is going to come before then. You can, like last year for a friend's birthday who likes spicy things, she wanted our whole group to do the Hot Ones challenge together.
Oh, so you can do it at home?
You can. I don't have a very high spice tolerance, so I was in an absolute panic. And I was okay. I made it to the end.
Look at you.
My crutch was lemonade. I feel like that was the hack that got me through it, but I did it.
I didn't know lemonade was is that like milk, kind of?
So I would have thought milk would have been the go-to.
Yeah.
Lemonade, at least when you held it in your mouth, the second you swallowed it and it was gone, that was it. The effect wore off. But if you held it in your mouth, it kind of immediately killed the spice. So it gave you a little
the sugar
relief.
in it.
Well,
sorry, going off such a tangent. Sorry, but I wonder.
I'm always happy to go on a food tangent. All right.
Cool.
Food tangent over. Third and final roll on the tower. Number 4. Number 4 is bucket list. I just want something that still remains on your acting bucket list.
I mean, I feel like this is pretty obvious, but I really want to do a scary movie. Yeah, I want to do, I would have even done a cameo in the latest Scream. I would have died. But yeah, I would love to do a scary movie.
I'm bursting at the seams with follow-up questions, but I've prepared for this.
Okay.
So I'm saving them for a part of the interview where I know with certainty they're going to come up. What's up, everyone? Welcome back for a new edition of Collider Ladies Night. I feel like we'll get to why I'm so excited that you're here quite a few times. I'm not going to spoil it, actually. Mikaela Hoover from Superman is here. I love Superman, so I'm so excited to talk about that, but there's something that I'm not going to reveal. There's a shared connection that I can't wait to dig into.
Big-time shared connection.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
What is the movie you saw, performance you saw, personal experience you had, whatever it may be, that first made you say to yourself, I have to be an actor?
There was never a time that I can remember where I didn't want to be an actor. So there's not like one specific, I have to be an actor. I was a dancer at a very young age, and I loved performing. And I loved, anytime I had friends over, even as a little girl, we'd all put on plays, and I'd be like, you stand here, you like so bossy, you do that, like, and doing, dances and stuff like that. I would say when I really, really was like, okay, I have to be in LA and move to Hollywood was when I saw Scream.
You walked right into all the follow-up questions.
Sorry.
Never apologize for bringing up Scream.
Yeah.
Do you recall, I guess, like what kind of scratched that itch in your brain about Scream? I vividly remember sitting there for the very first time and just being, I don't know, fully consumed by something so scary, but also recognizing the exhilaration I felt while being lost in that world, but also first processing the movie magic that was making me feel that way. And something about it all coming together made me a movie lover.
There's something about Wes Craven to me that I had debilitating OCD as a teen, and I was very in my head and very unhappy and, doing the rituals and the washing my hands and the checking and all this, and in my own head felt like such hell. And when I went and watched Scream in the movie theater for the first time, all of that stuff, for as long as that film was, shut off because I was so engulfed in that movie. And I just remember thinking like, oh, I have something else that it was like almost like a hobby then, was now I have to see every scary movie. And I just connected so much with that film at such a vital time in my life that it became, that movie still is my comfort film. I'm sure you have actresses in here.
I heard you say that in your conversation with Coy, and it spoke to me to my core.
Really?
I look at Scream in particular as a comfort film, but I also have, thanks to a wonderful company, a bumper sticker that is not on my car because I'm weird about putting stickers on my car. It's on my refrigerator, held up with magnets though, and it says Final Destination is my comfort movie.
I love Final Destination. We're going to be able to talk forever, but. Yeah, I have like certain scary movies that I put on as a way to, people put on music or to relax. I put on Scream or Nightmare on Elm Street or Candyman or I Know What You Did Last Summer and just on repeat. Like it's a very, people are like, what is wrong with this girl? But I think because of the time in my life that I was going through what I was going through, that was the only thing that really took me out of my own brain and was like, which is so weird because it's like you're watching such horrific stuff, but it was like, it's okay, you're safe. It's very bizarre.
I get that. So I do the exact thing. Same thing to this day. If I'm having a bad day, odds are I'm going to one of my comfort movies, and at the top of that list, in particular, is Scream and one of the Final Destination movies.
I love that. I recite because I know the entire movie of Scream. So if I'm nervous before shooting, besides the French toast and the donuts, I will recite Scream over in my head, and like it calms me down, and I feel like, okay, you're grounded, you're present, you're.
That might be one of my single favorite acting techniques I think I've ever heard on this show.
I'm so weird.
Do you have a specific scene that you are most inclined to go to in those moments?
Well, sometimes I do the beginning with Casey, and a lot of times I do. so bizarre. I do the grocery store when Tatum and Sid are at the grocery store, like all, the sexually anorexic stuff. And I do, when all the teens are around the water, what is that called? The
the fountain.
Yes, the fountain. Couldn't think of the word fountain. I was at a premiere last night. Can you tell?
You are definitely in the right space right now because you should be premiering really hard to celebrate this movie the way it needs to be.
Thank you.
And deserves to be.
Thank you so much. But yeah, I recite that one, the lines in that too. So I would say that those are probably my top three. And sometimes the end, sometimes Gail Weathers, like her stuff will pop in my head and I recite some of that. Yeah.
I love this so much. Now to go back to something you had said earlier during Dicey Questions, and now I feel like I do know the answer, possibly an answer to this question. If you had the opportunity to join the horror film franchise of your choice right now, what franchise would you pick and why?
Scream.
Yep.
Of course. Kevin Williamson. But because... I would also, of course, say Nightmare on Elm Street. I love, but Wes isn't here anymore. Rest in peace. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard because to me, I mean, I even like Shocker. I love Shocker. Like I love Wes Craven. But I would, of course, say Scream, and then I'd say Nightmare on Elm Street, and then I would say probably Candyman. I thought the new Candyman was so good.
So
Thank you.
I'm obsessed with that one really wide shot of the apartment when that kill happens.
I love that you know this.
I think that's one of the most stunning horror frames I've seen in recent years.
The film is beautiful. Yeah. It's just the way that it was done was, I went into that being like, why would you redo Candyman? Because Candyman, to me, it's like, it's such a classic. Why do you need to touch it? And the spin on it and spoiler, but Tony Todd I was like...
He makes me so happy thinking about him. Did you see the new Final Destination movie?
I haven't yet.
He gets...
I've seen this
one of my favorites. I would be very, very surprised if the end of the year came around and that wasn't still one of my favorite scenes of 2025.
He's such a presence, and I've got to meet him, and I'm sure, as you did, what a nice human being. What a special human being.
I always say he embodies why I love the horror community so much. Like, we all love the most sickest and, twisted shit happening on screen in a movie, but... the majority of people in that community are the biggest teddy bears.
I know, and he is.
Exactly like that.
And he was so, because I also always, people are like, who would you want to meet the most? Like, of any celebrity you could meet. And my first one was Wes Craven. And when I met him, I don't even remember. I blacked out because I freaked out so much. And then years later, he saw me at a cafe, and I never go up to people when they're eating because I don't want people to come up to me. So, please, But I saw him and I walked by and I was like, I'm the biggest fan. And he goes, I remember you because he goes, my fans don't usually look like you. It was like the nice. I was like, I can die so happy. And then Tony Todd, meaning Tony Todd, he was so generous with his time and so hugged me, which to me that was I melted. I'm like, what is happening? I mean, when people are like, who do you want to meet? It was Wes Craven and Tony Todd. So now I feel like I've crossed all that off the bucket list.
Just have a very similar answer. I
want to know what yours is.
Everyone's always like, who do you want to meet?
Yeah.
I met Wes once and I got to interview him just for it was 15 minutes and I was very new to this industry. So I was shaking in my boots because I didn't really know what I was doing at that point, but also because I was talking to my idol and couldn't have been nicer. And meeting Tony Todd and talking about our love of horror and also his love of cats, which I share.
Know you had. So you had a cat named, rest in peace,
Dewey.
Deputy Dewey, which
Dewey was a special one.
Makes me love you even more.
And now I have Malcolm, named after Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park.
But Dewey's like the best character. Well, I mean, I can't even. I love them all so much that I even feel weird even saying that because I don't know how would you rank them?
The characters?
Yeah.
I stress enough ranking the movies.
I know. But how would you?
Dewey would have to be my favorite.
He is your favorite.
I mean, having named my cat after him, he had the purest heart and intentions, which I love. I would have a very difficult time choosing between Gail and Sydney. I feel like Gail Weathers is probably one of the reasons why I sit in this seat too. Because
I love that. Have you ever told her that?
She put that journalist bug in my head. Actually, now that I think about it, I would really like to one day have a long form conversation with Courtney Cox.
You should. We're manifesting that.
Okay, I like
you
that.
Will.
My manifestation table. I like saying
you
that.
You will.
One day.
You will do that.
Okay. I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Her Gail Weathers. Oh, God, did she kill that role?
Like true perfection in that role.
True perfection.
True perfection. And also someone who has sat at this table, but for a different show, Collider Forces. Matthew Lillard is true perfection as too.
On and off screen. He's another one. Oh my God, he's so charismatic.
Truly one of the kindest people I've ever met. Not just like in the horror community, but in this industry.
Agreed. And he, people have told me that when he does conventions, he takes the time to talk to every single person and make them feel seen and special. And he's also a gem.
I've seen it with my own eyes.
Really?
It is truly one of the most incredible things I've ever witnessed. And he's in this. Actually, are you a Stephen King reader?
I'm a Stephen King horror movie watcher, but not really a reader. I wish I was. Yes.
Beautiful movie.
My friend Elon, I think worked on that. Is a producer. Yes. Yeah, shout out to Elon.
Fingers crossed that this one makes it all the way. Not that it's about awards, but I do want to see this movie get the recognition it deserves when Oscar season kicks off.
I hope it does too, because
special movie.
There's a lot of really great people involved in that movie. So, yeah, go see that movie, everyone. Go see Life of Chuck.
Hardcore rooting for this one. I'm rooting for Superman this weekend. And you in general. So that's going to be my pivot to getting into your journey here. So one of the things that I do love asking whenever I have a guest who studied acting in a formal school setting is about their experience there. And I was reading that you got a BA in theater in particular. So that was making me wonder, when you envisioned yourself making it as an actor, initially, was it on the stage versus the screen?
I would say I always wanted to be a screen actor. But now I'm like, in 10 years, I want to be able to go back to theater because I love theater. And I got to do, of course, plays in college, and I miss it. There's something about that is so much more loose and free. You don't have to hit your mark here and make sure the angle, is good here, and the lighting and all of that. So I definitely miss it, and I want to go back. I'm grateful that I got to have that experience
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I lived in New York for many, many years of my life.
I read that about you.
Did not go to enough Broadway shows.
Really?
And now that I live here, but my family is still back east, whenever I can.
You go.
I go.
That's great.
Sat front row with my sister, thanks to a good friend who got me the tickets, to see Six.
Oh my gosh. It's so good.
Like a little obsessed with the show now. But it was crazy with that particular show, the way that it is, being front row and not being able to see like anything around you and feeling like they're performing like for you at partially a little scary because there's so many moments where you're so close. You're like, where do I look? Like, what's appropriate? I don't know what to do.
Don't you feel like you're in the product? Like
it's very cool. Very cool.
That is very cool.
There was a phase where Collider was covering a lot of VR, and I don't love VR just because I don't like how the thing feels on my head and everything. But anyway, I was using an Oculus Rift, I believe it was. And one of the things that came like automatically programmed into it was a little piece of the Broadway version of Beetlejuice.
Wait, what?
And I thought that was one of the coolest things because it really felt like you put the headset on and it felt like they were performing a Broadway musical just for you. And that felt really cool.
I've never even put one of those things on. I feel like I'd be claustrophobic.
I didn't. It wasn't really for me, but I really liked that. And there was also a game called Beat Sabers that I just couldn't get enough of. It's like you ever play Guitar Hero?
No, I don't do it. I need to.
It's like you're holding two lightsabers in your hand and like you're like swishing them to the beat of the music. And I just got very obsessed with it.
Oh, what? So it's scary movies, Jurassic Park movies, right?
Yes.
And Guitar Hero?
Not
Guitar Hero. Guitar.
Realistically, when we're talking about games I play daily, it's the exact opposite of that. I'm a Wordle nerd. If there's like a word puzzle type thing, like I want to be on Wheel of Fortune. That's my dream.
Because you're a Sagittarius.
Yes.
Yep. But on the cusp, right?
Ish.
On the cusp.
Now I'm hesitant to say that because my friends are like, no one's on the cusp. Like
no,
you put in your day and time.
Because can we say your birthday on
November
here?
22nd.
Yeah, so you are on the cusp.
Yeah.
But I wonder what your moon is.
That I cannot recall.
I want to do your
you will
chart.
tell me.
Yeah, I feel like there's some Taurus in there and some Cancer.
I'm so curious to like do it now and see if you're right. Like if your read on me is right.
I'm a little witchy. I think I know.
Witchy vibes.
The craft too. Did that's what started all that for me too. How
I love the craft.
I wanted to live in that world.
Yeah.
Of all of that. I mean, it was the 90s and like Hot Topic and I mean, all of that. It was like, I can still remember the way Hot Topic smelled. Like when it had that certain smell. I think it's because, do you remember The Crow? Like, of course, do you remember The Crow? But the movie The Crow, they had this little like candy pixies that you would get at Hot Topic, and the whole Hot Topic smelled like that.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, take me back. Take me back before cell phones, before anything. Take me back.
Such an obnoxious thing to say while we're recording, but a movie is flooding my brain as you're talking about this that I'm not allowed to talk about right now, but I will tell you about it after, so it's on your radar.
Okay.
Soon enough, I will blurt it out to everybody on Ladies' Night. I've completely veered off my track. There's a question that I really love asking to anybody who has studied acting in school, and I'm definitely asking it to you right now. I want to know an acting technique that you learned in that program that you still find yourself holding tight to and using to this day, but then also something that all the schooling in the world never would have prepared you for when you hit your first professional stage or set.
My father's going to kill me because he paid a lot of money for me to go to Loyola Marymount. I mean, you can't replace being in theater. Like, you can't replace that experience. So I would say that the experience of that alone was incredible. I'm so grateful to, there was a specific teacher who really saw me in the theater program and put me as the lead of the children's hour. And that's when I really got a taste of the theater life and all of that. I'd done theater in high school and elementary, but it was very different doing it in college, and it's how I got my first manager and how I first got seen. So I don't know if I'd necessarily say that there's something. Well, no, there was a teacher at Loyola who said something that I actually do bring with me all of the time, so I take this back. He told me that when you're auditioning, it's okay to be tired and not and same with when you're shooting a scene and a little bit messed up and out of it, because sometimes that's your best work, is being messy and not being so poised and together with it. And for me as an actor, I think a lot of my best work is like some of the first takes when I'm not in my head. Mm-hmm. So when you're just like there and present and you don't have a chance to like, go through it a million times and rethink it. Could I have done it like this or that? Or so I would say that was, he was really incredible. What I would say is something that can't be taught in the business is almost everything. It's something that you have to experience everything in Hollywood kind of for yourself to really understand. It's not something that any school can teach you. From headshots to now everything self-tape, to confidence is such a big thing. Something that I learned recently that I feel like is the reason that I am where I am finally in my career is, number one, I let go. And I went, all I was doing was eat, sleep, living like, I have to get a role. I have to book something. And there was a point a few years ago when I went, no, I have to live. I have to live my life, because if I'm not living my life, I'm not experiencing these experiences, and I'm not going to take it in with me through the screen. So I think the second that I just kind of let go and was like, I just am going to live my life, and if acting happens for me, amazing. And if it doesn't, that's okay too, because there's so many beautiful avenues in life that you can take and that can happen. That doesn't mean that you're not still an actor. You can still act, but that doesn't need to be your sole focus all the time, and you don't need to take yourself so seriously. And I also think a couple years ago, I really went, instead of, you get the breakdown for what somebody's looking for, casting's looking for an audition. And I'd read that breakdown, and I would try so hard, to make it what the breakdown said that I needed, how I needed to be. And so many acting coaches, that's what they have you do. They're like, this is what they said that they wanted in the breakdown. This is how you do it. And I would go head to head with some coaches, because I'm like, that's not me. And instead of them saying, well, make it your own, it was like, no, you have to be that. You're an actor. Be that. And I think that the second that I went, I'm going to bring myself into every character, regardless of what the breakdown is, and be a little bit of, who I am. And if casting doesn't like it, that's okay, because maybe they'll see me for something else and be like, oh, well, she's great for this. Or, it just, I think that letting that shine through and like being yourself and being confident in who you are. And I think that's also something that comes with age. In my 20s and early 30s, it was like I wanted so badly to have that mask of like, to be someone else in different roles. And now I'm just like, I'm going to bring a little bit of myself into everything.
Love that. And I know you did some of that with Kat, and there's some connections there.
Oh my gosh, I
have so many follow-up questions. One of the first things that crossed my mind based on how you were explaining kind of your early approach to acting and maybe getting gigs is I am really curious about your experience booking guest roles on TV shows, because I know when someone's doing something like that, or perhaps in that phase of their career, there could be the mentality like, the more I get, the better. And like, that is good because you do want experience, but you also want to make sure you're picking the things that speak to you personally.
Yes.
So at that point in your career, what was that like? Were you able to find a balance, or were you teetering too much one way or the other?
No, I wasn't. I just wanted to work. So it was like, whatever. That's another thing too. I think early on in your career, you do a lot of what you're told. Your agent says, this is an audition. You do it. And everybody around you says, do this audition. You can't pass. You need the money. You need the credits. And I don't know if that's, listen, it could be the right advice for certain people, but for me, I don't think that was the right thing, because it wasn't fulfilling me in the ways that I needed to be fulfilled creatively. So I'm so grateful for every guest spot that I got to do. Happy Endings was like so much fun. I wish that character would have lived on forever. But a lot of the other ones, I'm like, sometimes they were good, sometimes, but I'm grateful for them. I just feel like it's a new chapter now in my life.
could see it too.
Oh, I love
and like also like everything you're doing now and everything that's on the horizon, it just feels
sweet.
like,
Thank you.
I don't know, like the door blew wide open suddenly. But like you have had a very steady stream of work for a long time now. And I have to go back to someone who heavily influenced the very beginning and much of what you've been doing since day one. It's James, who I just think the absolute world of. Can you tell us?
I say thanks thank you.
Maybe he'll watch this in here. You never know.
I'll send it to him. He's a little busy right now,
just
but
a little bit.
I'll definitely be sending it to him.
Going to be busy for a long, long time, and I think that's a good thing.
I know. He needs to take a break, though.
Yeah.
He needs to take a break.
I always want people to have breaks when they need it. I'm also a greedy fan who just wants more.
I mean, he's so brilliant that we all want more, but he also, there needs to be like more of a balance because he works so hard and he's such a perfectionist, which is such a beautiful thing, but also you need to have a little bit of a balance.
Yeah. I try to tell myself that all the time.
Me too. We all do
not listen.
Nobody listens. That's why.
I'm really great at giving the advice to other people. Me too.
I love that I'm telling James that advice right now, and I don't do that either. So
I get that all too well.
Yeah.
How did you first meet him? And can you also tell me the very first thing you either saw in him or saw him do that made you know to your core, that right there isn't someone I'm just going to work with once. That's going to be a longtime collaborator and friend for me.
Well, when I first met James, I was at an audition for a little internet short called Humanzy. And I walked in there. I didn't know who James Gunn was. I didn't know who... I actually knew who Sean Gunn was because I had watched Gilmore Girls. But I walked in and he, immediately, and this sounds crazy, but I'm a little witchy. When I met him, it was like, oh, there you are. Like he was a family member that I had done life with already. And I felt like, oh, I'm home. It was like those people that you meet and you're like, oh, there's that comfy, cozy feeling. And you're like, oh, where have you been? He is a big brother to me. But right away, I felt that. And I was like, oh, that's, there was that connection. And I remember auditioning for this role. And the way he tells the story is I was so bossy. I was like, I want to do that again. and he's like, okay, and then I did it again. And then I was like, no, I'm going to do that again. And he was like, but it was good the first time or second time. But I kept doing it. And that's what got me the role, was not the way that I delivered the lines or it was the in-between of me bossing everybody in the room around and telling them I wanted to do it again, and the personality that he saw in that. And I told James early on, and again, witchy, I'm a little weird. I was like, you're going to be one of the biggest directors in the world. I knew. And I told him. He will attest to that. So there is a energy to James that anyone that is around him just feels this, presence of, he's magnetic. He's just, he's got a presence like that is just, he's special.
I've definitely felt what you're saying. It's obviously to a different extent, but you just went through it with Superman. Those junkets can be a scary place. And
you killed it, though. By the way, you did such a great job.
How to do your movie justice.
You did such a great job.
Appreciate
you came
that.
in there, and we were all like, because you can hear a lot of the same questions over and over. And you came in there, and there were questions that I was like, I have no idea. She's so good. Like I let Wendell take the floor because I was like, please. Like,
in all honesty, though, it goes both ways, and that's a big part of the reason why I've always been a big fan of James's work, but also him as a person. He is one of the types of people in those settings that, like, the second I sit down, I feel like I belong there and I'm welcomed. And
I love that so much.
And you guys do a bajillion of those a day. I understand why that can't always be the case, but something about his energy just always makes me feel right and like I could do my best work.
I love that so much. He has I think because, James always felt like a bit of an outsider, and a lot of our friend group always had that. Like, we never really felt like we belonged anywhere. And so I think that when we all started working together, you hear people online being like, he's putting his friend, when they say, and it's like, I knew James before. I wasn't friends with him. I was working with him. I've been working with him for now like 17 years. That's going to age me so much. But forever. We've been doing shorts in his living room. Like, we were doing little internet shorts in his living room. It started with Humanzy, and then him and Peter created this show, Sparky and Mikaela.
Oh, I watched it.
What? I love you. What?
I watched it for this. I think one of the coolest things about that is, like, it's wild.
It's wild.
But you can make a direct connection to that and the things he's accomplished. Like, you see great. Those same sensibilities. You see the seeds of what he's brought us in recent years.
He's always James Gunn. Like, he's always in everything. He's James Gunn. Like, a lot of those questions in the junket were like, how has he changed? And I'm like, he's still James. He's just, everything is him and his essence. And it, from really, we've done so much together. I think since I've met him, we've done basically almost every, I've been really so blessed. And he's always James. Yeah. It's great.
I'll follow up on that with a question that kind of leans into the question that you just brought up. When you made the leap with him to Guardians in particular, what is something about him, the way he runs a set and carries himself, that allowed a gigantic big-budget Marvel movie to still have that same feel as the projects you made earlier?
James, again, has a presence that he commands a room, no matter what. He walks into a room no matter where we are, and he commands that room. So Guardians was never even a question whether he was going to absolutely kill that, because he just has this confidence and energy that he's still the same. He never changed. It's always him. And yeah, I mean, he was destined for greatness, honestly. He just is and was always.
Pretty incredible watching how well he's made the journey from low budget to big budget Marvel movie. And now with Superman, he's not just the director of a big budget movie, but he's also essentially a studio head too.
I know. It's crazy when people are like, "Oh, he's the head of a studio now." And I'm like, he's still just James. Like, I have so much respect for him professionally, but also I've been lucky enough to, he's now, like I said, my brother, because when you work together on so many different things, I think that when, you meet, it's like everything. It's like every profession. Every profession you meet people that you really connect with and you really love, and you want to continue working with them, because that's what life's about, is surrounding yourself with good people and creating and doing the things that you love.
I get that. I'm the biggest believer in filmmaking families. Like James, Mike Flanagan does it.
Yes. Well, yes.
I think the coolest thing is like I do see criticisms out there like, why do you keep bringing your friends in to make movies? But the thing is, like, you keep growing that group of friends every single step of the way, and you use that connection you made to ultimately lift others up, and then it just winds up having this incredible ripple effect that I think we need.
I've never understood, again, the internet people saying, internet bullies of like, you're just putting this person in because you're friends with them, or it's like, no, you want to work with people that you trust and that are reliable and that you love and that you want to see win in life. What else is the point of life besides doing that? And people are like, oh, but you want to give other actors opportunities. James gives other actors opportunities all the time. I mean, there's always new, fresh faces in his stuff of people that he's discovered. He's so good at that as well.
I love seeing all the people that I now follow to every single project, but they started, for me at least, with one of his.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, right? And too, with Superman, that cast was my favorite. It was summer camp while we were there, and we now, we're all in a group text chain and we all see each other. I spent the 4th with some of the cast members, and James has a knack for pulling together the best humans. And again, yes, acting's very important to me and it's my life and I love it so much, but what's even more important is the people that I surround myself with, because life is short and precious, and I'd rather be surrounded with, people that I love and that are special and great than, assholes, but you're just working. So I feel really blessed and in a way safe in that way. Like so important. Yeah.
Especially on a film set of all places where it's like maximum vulnerability with the work you do.
And you should be so scared, but you feel safe because you feel like you're, Rachel on the first day of Superman, I had never met Rachel and she had such a glowing reputation, but you never know until you're actually there. And Rachel set the tone for me on this movie more than any human. I will forever be grateful and have gratitude for how she treated me on that set. She lifted me up so much. She never made me feel like, oh, you're a small role in this project, so I'm going to act above you, or none of that bullshit that a lot of actresses can do. She set the tone not only for this movie, but she set the tone of how I want to be and how I want to treat other actresses. She is, again, I sound like I'm just like glowing about everyone, but they really are. When you meet them, you're like, oh, this is why. She is one of my favorite humans, and I have been so blessed to have a friendship outside of Superman with her. I mean, there were times in the trailer where we would just talk and people would come in and be like, it is time to go home. Why are you still here? But we got along so well. We share the same birthday. That could have to, I know.
Something about witchy vibes connecting people. I know.
With that. We're all, David, Superman is a Cancer. Rachel and I are Cancers. The makeup artist is a Cancer. I'm pretty sure Skylar is a Cancer as well. And there's one more person in there. Oh, Nick Holt's wife shares our birthday. Like we all have. I know it's very.
It's meant to be.
And the movie's a Cancer because it is July 11th, which was James's.
I've never applied that to a movie release date, and now I'm not going to stop thinking about it.
I believe in all of that, but the movie comes out on James's dad's birthday, and James's dad was such an incredible human. He he is so proud of his son, I would say, I know his mom got to be there last night, and I just the way that it fell, on his birthday like that, it's just all very special.
Oh, I love that. I was about to jump into a whole bunch of collaborator questions in regards to Superman, but I don't want to skip Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because thinking about your scenes in that movie.
I know, right?
My heart. And also, it's just such a unique performance challenge jumping into performance capture. When James first approached you with that role, what was your initial reaction? Were you kind of well prepared in your mind for what it would take to do performance capture versus standard on-screen acting work?
Well, James never just gives me a role. James actually said to me, I got the audition through my agent, and I text James and I said, did you send this out? Like, is this the right thing? Because the breakdown was they wanted like a mechanical voice for Floor, very mechanical, a little bit stiff, very different from what my voice is. And James said, yeah, you're most likely not going to get this role, but like, I want casting to hear your voice. You have such a great voice. So I thought, I can just play. I'm not going to get this. Like, who cares? I'll just like do however, my version of Floor, the little bunny rabbit would be, which was not mechanical, which had kind of she has such a childlike innocence about her no matter what she's been through. And so I did the audition, and casting loved it. And then I just went through the process of audition, as I'm sure listeners know as well, you auditioned 1 million times for something. Not 1 million times. I think I only auditioned 3 times for that. Twice, 2 or 3 times. But Kevin Feige heard my floor and he loved it. And so that's how I got it.
The 4 of you are so good too, and I should probably correct myself a little bit. You guys did the base performance capture, and then things were built on top of on top of that. But I think the combination, seeing so many different departments come together to make this one thing so seamlessly together, I don't know, just really fills me up as someone who loves film but also filmmaking.
Well, and I think too that was a big that really kind of changed me as an actor for the best, because I had been so concerned all the time of what I look like on screen and how I, that it made me go back to more my theater days, because I'm playing a bunny rabbit who, is crawling around and doing such, things that you wouldn't normally do, obviously. And I got to live in this world of make-believe and my imagination and really just play and love on that character and be that character completely. And it made me go, it reminded me of this is why I chose this career path.
Beautiful answer.
Oh, thank you.
Because I imagine that capturing the performance is different for these 2 projects. Is there anything about how you recorded your voice work for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that you found coming in handy on One Piece, even though that process was probably different?
So when I got the audition for One Piece, I was filming Beef, and I really just wanted to focus on Beef. And so I got an audition from my voiceover agent, Stephanie, who was so nice through all of this. And I said, I'm passing on this, Stephanie. I need to really be focused on Beef. Crazy to think about now that but they don't have a breakdown of what it's for. When they give you those things, they don't give you this is for One Piece and Chopper. So I had no idea what it was for, and I just wanted to really focus on Beef. And a week and a half later, Stephanie said, hey, casting specifically asked for you, for your voice for this. And I was like, okay, I'll take a look. And again, it didn't have the breakdown of, it had a breakdown of the character, but it didn't say who the character was. It didn't say what it was for. But when I read the sides for him, I was like, oh, this is me. I felt so connected to this character, so that when I was auditioning for it, I was having so much fun. And that was coming alive in me again of why I did this in the first place and why I chose this to be my career path. So I was having so much fun auditioning for him. And when I went to producers, I still didn't know what it was for. So, it's now over Zoom a lot of times, and it was over Zoom. And I knew that I loved him so much. I didn't even know he was what he was. I think they said on the breakdown that he was a strange forest creature that had been kind of picked on his whole life. And that just spoke to me so much. I was like, I love him so much. And so I did that. And then I remember one of the producers saying, getting teary-eyed in my Zoom callback. And he goes, people are going to love Chopper so much. And I go, what? Chopper? What? I had no idea. And then there comes that. I don't think I just answered your question at all. Sorry,
I'll take that answer, because so much of what you said, because we as the public have only, I believe at this point, seen that one little introduction of the character. And first time I watched it, I'm like this is like a character actor match made in heaven. Like this was meant to be.
I love him
I sincerely
so much.
mean that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's hard because people want you to sound like the anime version, or they have an idea of what they want you to sound like. And I just took my own spin, clearly from the audition and from the session, of how I felt he would be, and how I'm also, as you know, like I'm acting him out, like all the facial expressions, all the movement, everything is me. So I just took, a bit of who I am, circling back to the beginning, and my experiences, and put that into Chopper.
That answer perfectly tees up a Cat Grant question, because that's another example of a time when you are making your own version of a character that many out there are familiar with. And whether you're doing it that way or just starting any old new role, I always love asking actors for their aha moments when playing a character. So was there anything you thought of or did, either in prep or on set, that made you stop and go to yourself, I have just found who my Cat Grant is?
Yeah, I think that, the costume helped a lot before we were even doing it. Her outfits and the way that, we decided that she was going to wear glasses those are actually my glasses in the movie. And the wig, of course, the blonde, it was so fun being blonde. But I think the second that I stepped foot into the Daily Planet, if you saw that set, it was so incredible. And the second that I stepped foot in there, I carried myself in a different way of like how I was Cat. And I had read the comics and really studied up on who Cat was, but again, I took who I am and my experiences and made her me. And I feel like there's so many similarities between us. A lot. And a lot that aren't, but yeah, she's a great character.
I'll follow up on that. Can you tell us one thing about yourself that you gave to Kat, but then maybe something about her as a character that you have taken with you?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I would say something about myself is I am a lot of times in my own little world. And Kat in Superman is clearly, she is like in her own world. So that came very second nature of just like, I would say something that I've taken with me through Kat, and I don't think that you really, because it's really just kind of a tease into the Daily Planet. Mm-hmm. You don't really get to see, and hopefully you will, without manifestation table. But Kat is extremely strong. She looks a certain way, and so people treat her a certain way, and they underestimate her. And she takes that and uses it to her advantage. She knows how to work a room in the best way because she uses, her looks and, again, the way people perceive her to get the story and get the scoop. She will do anything she can to get that story. And she's really strong in that way. Like, there's something really admirable about being like, I know what I bring to the table physically, looks-wise, and I'm going to use that to kind of get what I want and manipulate to, get the story or do whatever that is, and not being ashamed to use that. Like, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Like I am using what I have to get what I want, and I'm not gonna apologize for that.
Ooh, I love when someone is so unapologetically themselves and aware of what they're able to accomplish.
She's so aware.
Yeah, with what they have and what they can do.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to lean into her approach to her work as a journalist, as a gossip columnist. And, this question might be a little bit of a stretch because it's kind of tied to something that James specifically said about Lois. But I kind of am curious where Kat, I guess, falls on this spectrum here. So in our press notes, he says specifically, Lois has integrity, but she doesn't necessarily believe in goodness like Superman does. And, I asked Rachel about this, and she was talking a bit about like her version of Lois's backstory and why she's come to have that kind of mentality. I don't know if you do that kind of backstory work as well, but if you did, I guess where does Kat fall on that spectrum in terms of believing in humankind's goodness or not having that kind of faith in them?
Well, Kat actually, she sees in the comics Clark for how good he is, and she loves him for him. Like, Kat came from Hollywood, where we can see, it's kind of bleeding out into real life. People are seeing now the veil's kind of been lifted a little bit, and you're seeing who people really are. And I think that Kat came from Hollywood, and she was like, she had seen behind the veil, and she did not want to see anymore. And so she started working for the Daily Planet and moved out of Hollywood, and she sees Clark. She's like the first to really see how good he is and believes in him so much. So I'd say that Kat does believe in goodness, but I think that because she's seen the stuff in Hollywood, there's things that she's willing to do that maybe people might put a little bit of judgment on, but that doesn't mean she's not good. She's still a very good person. She will always do the right thing, but everybody's truths are always a little bit different. So she maybe bends the truth in ways to fit her narrative, but she's good.
Also, I feel like there is no one out there who sees goodness in others quite like Superman does.
Yeah, agreed.
Defining quality of the character.
Clark. I mean, oh my gosh, so good.
It is so good.
He is.
I still
gosh,
can't quite get over it.
Yeah, I can't believe how much he is Superman. It's not, when you're watching the film, you're not watching like somebody play Superman. You're watching Superman. It's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely felt that way.
I think everybody's gonna feel that way. I said it to him again last night. I'm like, men and women are gonna be so in love with you when they see this. You are just such a force.
I know there's a lot of pressure. I hope he really knows just like what a perfect fit he was for this character.
Yeah, and again, he's such a he approached this he just was like, it's just very easy. He's very easygoing and very, I don't think that he lets that pressure, like he's just like, he's you can tell too.
Limited perspective again, but that's the read I got from him in those interview settings.
Yeah. He's very easygoing and collected and doesn't put too much weight or pressure on it. And I think that's what makes it such a beautiful, genuine, authentic performance.
Yeah. I kept using the word pure because of purity to the character, but also I don't even know if this is applicable because I can't like see through someone, but I feel like there's like a purity with the way he approached the character.
He is pure. I mean, I do, again, because we got to spend so much time with each other and really got to know each other and have friendships outside of the movie, we are all very similar to our characters. It is very crazy how James cast it like that.
Okay, I'll lean into the ensemble question I wanted to bring up before, and I'll narrow it down to the Daily Planet cast. So I'm the biggest nerd for the variety of acting techniques there are out there, and I love the fact that like all these different approaches can speak to how uniquely perfect each actor was for their role. Can you tell me maybe something specific about each member of that ensemble that is one of a kind them and speaks to why they made their role their own?
You want me to go through each Daily Planet member?
Okay,
cool. Well, Wendell, I mean, you
legend.
He's a legend. And Wendell has so much integrity, and he is like, when Wendell speaks, people listen. So of course he's playing the role that he's playing in Superman. I mean, if he feels so much like that, there's a kindness to him, but also a due diligence for his job and the way that he approaches life and approaches his work. Beck is very silly and similar to Steve. There was stuff that didn't make the film, but like the back and forth banter between Kat.
Is there a relationship backstory that didn't make it into the film? My colleague who went to the set mentioned that came up at some point.
I don't know if what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. But,
fair enough.
But in the comics, there is definitely a backstory, and he gets on Kat's nerves all the time. But he thinks he can get her and date her, and she's just like, he's like this little like a brother, but that like also not a brother because he like there is a little bit of attraction there. But they just like go ahead. They go head to head. But yeah, he's so funny. I mean, Beck Bennett, another legend. He's got that silliness, and he embodied the character so well. I mean, it was crazy. And Skylar, again, one of my favorite humans on the planet. Skylar is Jimmy in the best way of like, there is this beautiful innocence about Jimmy and Skylar, and this confidence that doesn't feel like it draws you in more. Like he's got such a beautiful presence, Skylar, that you just want to see Skylar win. Yeah. And you want to see Jimmy win too. You root for them in life. And so I'd say that's, yeah.
Ever since I saw Santa Clarita Diet, I'm like, I want Skylar to get every opportunity he wants.
I want Skylar to be the biggest star in the world. Did you see we did, the press junket, and I already knew this about Skylar, but he thought that he was auditioning for Superman. Did you read that? Yeah. So he initially thought that his audition was for Superman, and when his agents called him to give him the call back, he was like thinking it was for Superman. Which, by the way, Skylar, I could see him playing Superman. Like, he was like, I'm thinking outside the box. Skylar can do anything he wants. So people that are hating on him on the internet for sharing that, I'm like, give me your address because I will protect that man till the end of time.
Also, like my obsession with acting techniques, I am utterly fascinated by the fact that a character changes in every single person's hands. And I think that's part of the reason why I love art in general, but also in particular screen storytelling. That's why I love reboots. That's why I think reboots are something that we should keep doing.
If they're done right. For horror movies, I'm like, I teeter back and forth of like, should we be rebooting some of these things?
I'm trying to think of a good reboot now. So a good, somewhat straightforward remake. Did you see the new Speak No Evil?
Was that James
McAvoy?
Oh my God, it was so good. And okay, you are correct. So good.
The same story, but I think
different. The spin that they took was agreed.
I'm trying not to ruin it for everybody, but I do think that's the perfect example of finding new layers in the same concept.
Agreed. That was I saw that in the theater, and I'm not a big. I haven't seen. I don't have time to see a lot of movies in the theater recently, but I saw that in the theater, and that was quite the experience. That film is. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about that film because it's so good.
Can't remember how well it did or didn't do, but I was rooting for it every single step of the way.
I can't believe how brilliant that film is. It was. Even the cinematography in that film.
Bursting at the seams to give you horror recommendations.
Oh my gosh, please
Are you a Shudder subscriber?
I'm not.
Highly recommend. Highly recommend.
Well, here's my thing. The older I get and the more the happier I get in my life, I don't feel the need as much to torture myself with. I don't like gore. Like, people are like, oh, she's such a. But I'm not into gore. Okay. I'm like, I don't know why you needed to show that. I don't need to see the gore. I like more now the psychological aspect.
What do you
and
think of the
ghost stuff.
substance?
I mean, of course, I liked it. I wasn't like, it's not something that I'd watch over and over again. But I like Talk to Me. I love anything ghost related.
Oh, I love Talk to Me.
I love Talk to Me. I'm also the person too that when we were filming some stuff in Atlanta, I took the weekend and went to Savannah because I wanted to go see all the haunted places. I'm obsessed with haunted, ghost stories, and anywhere that I'm filming, even when I do conventions, I'm like, where can I go in this town that's like, has the ghost story and I go like.
Is there a spookiest place you've ever been? Like something that really unsettled even you?
There are certain places that when you go in, you go, oh, this horrific stuff happened here. It's a bad energy. The first time I ever went to New Orleans, I felt like I was home in a weird way because I was like, this just feels so familiar, and there's something so, you feel it in the air in New Orleans, like that spookiness. But there's some places in New Orleans that are, you don't mess with, like you don't go in. And also, there's certain rules when you go into these places.
As I said that question, that was the memory that came flooding back. Like there's a particular building that like
in New Orleans
you don't touch.
Yeah. Oh, are we talking? Is it the same? Is it the what is it? The mansion at?
I didn't say it because the name poof gone from my mind as I was going to bring it up.
Yeah,
and now all I can think about is the fact that Kathy Bates played her in American Horror Story.
Why am I again? The Superman was premiere was last night. I'm very tired.
I've got no excuse.
But it's the
LaLaurie
mansion.
Yeah,
yes.
I feel like I did not say that fully properly.
I've never been in the inside, but I'm telling you, on the outside of that is. The bad energy.
I vividly remember the tour guide that we were with, didn't even cross the street to go on that side.
Even there's a bar that I'm not a bar goer, but there's a bar there that's haunted that is kind of cool. But it's a little bit near that, and you even sometimes feel the energy. It's just that mansion is no bueno.
Yeah. That's probably, especially because of the history that they were explaining.
Horrible. It's horrific.
Like one of the worst feelings being in the proximity of a building like that I've ever had.
And I've never been in the inside of that house. I've stumbled upon it because I love to walk around New Orleans by myself because I'm a psychopath, and feel different energies of different places. And every time I accidentally stumble upon that house, I feel it even before. It is not good.
You should go to the Overlook Film Festival there.
In New Orleans?
Good genre film festival.
I didn't even know there was.
Yeah.
I told my convention
very well
agent,
curated film festival.
Really?
Yeah.
And is it scary movies?
Yeah, scary movies. I'm gonna get the date wrong. I feel like they might have moved to the beginning of June or May. It's May or June. Now I'm gonna get it wrong, and someone's gonna get mad at me. But it's a really great film festival. Highly recommend. They do wonderful curation of their film lineup, but they also have a lot of immersive components too. I've done a couple of immersive theater experiences there.
Wow.
That were solely this is going to sound really weird, but now I have to explain it. One of the coolest ones I ever did was with a buddy of mine, and the performance piece was you walk into a hotel room and you get into the hotel room bed, and some actor hands you a storybook, and you open the storybook, and then the story comes to life in the room around you. So it's almost like you're being read a storybook, but you're in the middle of it at the same time.
Wait, what? You did this when?
It was
did
incredible.
You do this?
At the Overlook Film Festival. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done.
I don't know if I could just sit and do that and be like, okay, maybe, but probably not. That's really brave.
That was a special one.
That's a testament to you. That's really cool.
I feel like you could look at that both ways. Either
no, that's
you're stupid
cool.
that you have no boundaries, or
no, that's really cool. Because you went to film school, right?
I did.
I
did.
At Columbia, is that right?
You did your research?
Well, I'm playing a journalist. I gotta look into some of that.
I did.
So.
Good 3 years of my life.
That's so cool.
I'm glad I'm using the degree.
But you're producing now too, right? You're doing some,
I went to that program because I was reviewing beforehand, and I started to feel not that everybody has to go through this process, but I started to feel really bad about critiquing people's work and not knowing what it felt like to make a film or show.
That's great. No, that's good. That's what everybody should do.
I went and had the experience, but then coming out the other side, I'm like, I'm really glad I had that experience, but I think that just proves to me that, like, this is my hard work. I'd rather be in this seat celebrating other people's hard work making these screen stories.
That's really cool.
I needed it.
That's really cool, and I wish more people would approach things like that and see. It's kind of like when you're on a film set and you watch, like, people don't talk enough about the behind the scenes of how hard those people work. Hair and makeup and all the grips and the lighting, they don't get a break. Yeah. Like, they're like, and their hours are insane.
I'll give you one of my favorite questions about that. And I'll preface this question by saying literally every single person on a film crew is of the utmost importance. But can you name an unsung hero on the crew of Superman? Someone who, like, stepped up in an especially big way and maybe even teed you up to deliver your best work?
Oh, man. Well, catering was pretty incredible with that French toast.
Oh, yes. We did talk about the French toast.
And she would also do biscuits and gravy for me some days. I mean, she was clutch. Who else? Lars, who's he's very important to the film. He's one of the producers. But having him there, he's a champion for actors, and just having his presence there was great. I mean, there's so many like that. Gosh, I mean, there's so many people that are
the best.
The makeup artist on Superman. We share the same birthday. I mean, it's crazy. The hair department and the makeup department, what a difference that makes, because you're sitting in their chair before you're going to do a scene. So if there's drama or gossip or like crap that's going on in there, you're going to carry that over to your work. And when it's nice, and like I just came from a project where the hair department, Lori, she was head hair department. She would like have incense, and we would do like little shots of like she'd put like barley juice. Is that the right thing? Or like all these good like vitamin-y stuff.
I have no clue, but now I'm gonna look that up.
Spinach, like all this like healthy stuff. We would do that, all of the actors, and I just think that when you really do carry it's another thing that I've learned throughout the years is like you carry I'm very energetically sensitive. I think you are too. That's why I said I think you have Cancer definitely in your chart. Maybe even Pisces. Those are great.
I can't wait to learn all this about
stuff.
myself.
I know. I can't wait to do your chart. But I'm very sensitive, so I take a lot of energy, and I think I need to learn more boundaries and how not to, but it's just part of my personality. Mm-hmm. But the people around are, before you step into something, are really important. Mm-hmm. That's why, again, it's important to surround yourself with good people.
Filmmaking families.
Yes.
All right. I got to wind down with you. I'm going to squeeze in 2 questions about the future, and I will preface these questions by saying I know you know nothing. These are just theory, fun type things for you to lean into and maybe manifest now.
Okay.
So this movie introduces us to Kat. There is no doubt in my mind that there's a bajillion more layers to explore. Is there any particular corner of her world or her personality that you as the actor playing her are most eager to get to dig into in another film?
I want to dig into... In the comics, again, she is so obsessed with Clark in the best way. I mean, she's like, he stands for everything that she never had in her previous life and back in Hollywood. And I think that I would really love to dig into that and that relationship there, and more of her relationship to Skylar and Beck, and I mean all of it. Like I feel like we just touched the surface, not even in this film. So there's so much there that I'm so excited to embark on. Hopefully, manifest.
Yes, it works. I swear it works.
I bet it does.
I feel like I could come up with a couple of examples that actually did pan out.
I already know.
I'm so proud of that.
What? That's so sweet. Come on.
Oh, it's going to work.
It will.
You just name dropped a couple of characters, but this might put a little bit of a different spin on it. If you could see Kat have more screen time with another character in this franchise down the line, who do you think she would have the most to gain from?
I mean, I think that Lois and her have a really interesting dynamic because they are, in the comics, almost like frenemies, but also, you know, like almost like sisters, where they love each other, but they also, you know, I think Kat gets very jealous of Lois. I don't think so much Lois of Kat, but Lois, you know, is like, to her, this kind of preppy, like, always do-gooder kind of person. So I think that some stuff with her and Lois would be really cool, really fun.
That.
Yeah.
All I want is like a lengthy, meaty one-on-one conversation between
right?
the two of
I mean,
them.
we got a little bit of in the movie, but not. I mean, I feel like that was just Kat talking to herself and talking to talk. She wasn't really conversing with Lois in any way, and again, being in her own little world. Yeah.
Maybe her own little world, but I'm also a big believer that there's a lot of important stuff going on in that world.
Oh, yeah.
And the ability to sell that when there's so much going on around you is something else.
That's really sweet. Thank you so much.
I mean it. We've hit the final question of Collateral Ladies Night. Every single one ends with this question. In film and television, we give each other awards. That's great. We should keep doing that. Nobody in this business tells themselves good job as much as they should. I want to know something you accomplished making Superman that you know you're always going to look back on and say, you know what, I'm really proud of what I did there.
Wow, that's a good question. I'm really proud of myself that it was the most present I've ever been on any set. And instead of getting overwhelmed that it was Superman and it was such a massive thing and letting my nerves get the best of me, I was very present and I was very grateful. And I think gratitude goes such a long way when you're just, like, I journaled a lot and I hadn't ever really journaled like that. And again, I'm really proud of the friendships that I made on that movie, because I know that those friendships will carry through for the rest of my life. So they're very valuable to me, and yeah, I'm proud of that.
I love that answer. I must say,
Thank you.
huge congratulations on everything you've
Thank you
accomplished
so
on
much.
Superman and everything coming your way in the future. I know, like, with certainty, there's going to be many more opportunities to get you back in the studio.
That's so nice
This
of
is
you.
a
Thank you.
dangerous
Yes.
combination, by the way. I could have kept you here for hours.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely talking to you and visiting with you. You're great.